We're going to show you that there's a different way to do memberships. It's not that they're dead. They just need an update. Why can't we monitor these devices and capitalize on it? It's not like every time you walk into a house, you're walking away with $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Like most of these memberships are just changing filters and cleaning units. All I'm saying is maybe monitoring is not the answer. Maybe membership's not the answer, but there is a different way to do things.
Hey, welcome back to another HVAC Success Secrets Revealed with Thaddeus and Evan. We have good conversations with good people, and any good conversation worth having is worth having drunk. Although today we're keeping it sober. We're keeping it 100. I'm excited for this episode with Mr. Ismael Valdez. No stranger to the show. We've had him on a couple times, both when he was still running Nexgen, and then right after he had sold, he popped on while we were at a live event, and that's when he was just getting started with Nuva and what he's got going on there. But he's coming on today to tell us all about the exciting announcements with it. We're also going to dive into some cool topics around health and making sure you're taking care of yourself, because if you're not doing that, then what the fuck's the point of running a business? Because you're going to be gone by the time it's ready to exit. So excited to dive into that part of it too, and mentorship and the roles of all the important people that you have in your life and the impact that they can have on business and life and whole life success. So I'm jacked up for today's show. How about you, bud?
No, I'm super excited. I know that the passion and the fire that the man brings is second to none in terms of the energy and the impact, and looking forward to unpack some of the keys to that as well. But today's show would not be possible without our sponsors, and in no particular order: On Purpose Media, Elite Call, Chirp, and Service World Expo. Let's kick it off with join us for the most magical contractor experience at Service World Expo in Orlando, Florida, from October 15th to 17th. So they've got keynotes, breakout sessions, 4-hour workshops, social mixers, an exhibit hall with industry-leading products and podcasts like this one will be there. Network with other residential contractors and hear from some amazing keynotes, all designed to help contractors like you elevate your business. Register now and use the promo code SECRETS100 for $100 off. Visit serviceworldexpo.com to register today, and we will see you there.
Giddy up. And we have Chirp. Transform your home service business with Chirp, your ultimate automation toolbox. Capture more leads, connect instantly, and skyrocket your sales. Chirp integrates seamlessly with platforms like ServiceTitan and Housecall Pro, offering automated texts, emails, even ringless voicemails. Boost your Google reviews and customer loyalty with their proven rehash programs. Schedule your demo today and get an exclusive 25% off. Visit chirp.com/HSSR to learn more.
Cool. And now, if you have a bunch of people that you want to call, have you ever thought about outbounding them to fill your dispatch boards as lucrative sales and service appointments? Well, Internal Elite Call, a US-based call center, does just that for over 20 years. Their dedicated teams don't just make calls, they directly integrate into your CRM and fill your dispatch board. Don't let your competition get ahead. Visit elitecall.net to connect with your customers first and learn more to be able to utilize their services.
And in order to do all of that stuff, well, you need more leads coming into the board and onto the job board. You need more new business and new customers. So enhance your online presence with On Purpose Media, your go-to home service marketing expert for everything web design, SEO, PPC, stunning user-friendly websites built to convert visitors into actual book jobs. Enhance your visibility with Google and effective pay-per-click, minimizing that wasted ad spend. So let's turn your online presence into a lead-generating powerhouse. Visit onpurposemedia.ca and start your digital transformation today. Ish, what's going on, man?
Good, man. Big ups to you guys on all those sponsors you guys got, man. Honestly, it's your dedication to this podcast and the trades that got you all these guys to trust you guys with their names on this podcast. So big ups to you guys, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's it's actually funny because like you look at people with podcasts, and I'll toot our own horn for a second. I was chatting with a buddy the other day while hiking. He's like, yeah, I had a buddy that, started a podcast. He did one episode. Like the average podcast lasts like 10, 12 episodes, like one season. That's it.
See, there's a lot of podcasts out there, man, that I'm like, they start off with 1 or 2 or 3 episodes and then like they just kind of fade away. So that's why I'm saying big ups to you guys, because you guys have been so consistent. For how long have you had this podcast already?
Going on 4 years this fall.
Exactly. 4 years on a podcast, and you guys keep doing it, week by week, month by month. So it's pretty dope to see you guys do it. So, and before we start, I want to apologize for last time that I was in the middle of an airport. I was supposed to be on a podcast with you guys, and my assistant miscommunicated sometimes. So I want to apologize to you guys because I hate when I, number one, make people wait, and number two, when I don't show up on time or I don't show up on meetings, because it makes me look like like I'm immature, or
Well, appreciate the public acknowledgement and the public apology. It's one of the tough things about going live is just that, is the idea of that sometimes shit happens and you've got to just adapt and pivot, and we get it, right? So we also understand that. But I think that's also a good segue into some of the things that you guys are doing right now is a mentorship thing. And I think probably one of the things in terms of mentorship is owning up to those sorts of things and be able to have that. But I mean, I always like to start off with this, and I've had some people on Facebook, actually not even in the HVAC space, in the digital marketing space, they're like, well, what's the difference between a coach and what's the difference between a mentor? Well, I think there's an impactful difference between that. So I guess in your opinion, what's the difference between a coach versus a mentor?
I think a coach tells you what to do every day. So like a coach would be like a trainer. A coach would be like the guy showing you how to dribble the basketball, how to throw the pitch. That's a coach to me. A mentor is more the guy that gives you the visibility into the path that you're going to, right? That the coach doesn't see because he's inside, every day grinding it out with you every day, training, practicing, making sure you're eating well, making sure you're working out, all that. That's a coach to me. A mentor works on more of the spiritual, the mental, the visual that you don't see that he sees in you. So I consider most people in the industry are coaches, but they think they're mentors. I think a mentor has a little bit more value than a coach, right? Just because they see the 3, 5 year, 10-year plan, when the coach is more stuck in the now. We got to work on today. We got to work on getting better, right? So that's my opinion on between a coach and a mentor.
No, it makes sense. And a mentor is someone that's been there and they've done it before, right? So they're able to paint that picture, like you said, that 3-5 year roadmap. And when I look at some of the people that you surrounded yourself with, you had Tom Howard come into your business when you were running Nexgen at 30 million and you were making no money, and showing you what a P&L statement was and helping you become profitable and take that business to the next level. You've constantly surrounded yourself with some incredible people, and now you're doing the same thing again, even now elevating your game even higher with Tommy and Travis and Chris Yano and who else in that group? Aaron,
Chad Peterman, Chris Hoffman. Those guys are all good dudes, man.
Yeah, well, it's powerhouses in the home service space, and now you guys are trying to get back a little bit too. So, but that's a little teaser. We'll save that for a little bit later. But now you were running Nexgen, crushed it there, exited the business. Now you've hopped over into Nuva. You started to play around with it. It was what, 3 years ago when the concept started to
2.5 years ago was the concept, and we just went live last week. I think we onboarded a little bit over 100 contractors already in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So it's been pretty hectic around here at Nuva. Even though it's a little 3,000 square foot shop, it's been pretty hectic to see all these people coming in and out and all the meetings that we've been doing. So yeah, Nuva is the next venture for sure.
Well, and so for people who have no idea what it is, it's a thermostat, right? What's the difference? What's the big deal? Why would I install this over just a Nest or any of the other thermostats that we got? What is it that makes this special?
So I'll go through some of the presentation that we get people onboarded, because I get thousands of questions asked for me, like, hey, what is Nuva? What is the one thing that differentiates yourself from everything else? Nuva is a thermostat that's disguised as Nuva is a lead generation source that's disguised as a thermostat. Right? The original concept of it came from the alarm industry company. I don't know if I could share my screen with you guys. Can I share my screen with you guys or no? So I just can show you
there's
some
the present button down in the bottom there with the plus screen.
Okay, let me see if we can figure it out. I have Lauren figure it out. So Nuva is a lead generation source that is disguised as a thermostat. And what differentiates us from every other thermostat? It's the first interactive thermostat that we're able to see, that we're able to interact with the consumer back and forth. We could do custom messaging for them. We can send out alerts for them. Most of these contractors we're presenting them with 4 different options of monitoring on the thermostat. Our most popular bundle that everybody's been going with is the eNetworks package, which comes with the custom app and a custom app for each contractor and a custom icon. That's probably going to be the biggest game changer. That's probably going to be the biggest game changer for the trades, because it's everybody in the industry, from service time to Chirp to everybody in the industry, has been trying to get to the consumer phone. And I think Nuva is going to be the first tool in the trades that actually gets in there, and we're going to be able to capitalize on it just by the marketing impact, them downloading the app and having the icon, the customer icon inside their phone, and being able to interact with that every day, passing the hallways and being able to see the contractor logo. Like, those are little things that is going to differentiate, that's going to differ from us to any other ones. Another one another feature that we're working is the auto start feature, where these contractors could basically filter out all these thermostats, right? Filter out all these thermostats by zip code, by age, by city, by whatever you want to do, and they could start auto testing these units from their office. So we're going to run 15-minute tests on these thermostats, and we're looking for a 2-degree differential to either come up or down. If it satisfies that, then that means the system's running efficiently. It doesn't need a tune-up or anything. If it doesn't, it would automatically generate an alert to the consumer, to their app, and to the thermostat, as well as to the contractor, where it synchronizes that call. And all it does is, with a click of a button, they could approve a technician to get to their house and get out there on time, so we can help them out.
Is there a certain amount of time that the temperature variance is there?
Yeah, we're going to be doing they're going to be doing 2 tests per year, one for the winter, one for the heating season, and it's going to be a 2-degree differential. So 15-minute cycles. When it's testing on the thermostat, it's going to say testing active. On the app, people are going to know, so that we're not catching the consumers off guard when we're testing these units.
Love it.
Did you figure your screen share out?
No, we couldn't figure it out. You're good.
Yeah.
All right. You did mention the security home systems. Like, that's where kind of the idea came from. And I love the idea of being able to learn from other industries and be able to pull ideas from other industries into the home services space. So what was it about the home security system that you saw an opportunity for retention and something that was going to make an impact on the trades?
So I got on the phone with the CEO of ADT. I got on the phone with the CEO of Alarm.com. I got on the phone with all these alarm companies, Bell Alarm, I think it was too. We got on the phone with them. And the one thing that popped out to me with them is that I asked them, hey, what's your customer retention like overall since you guys started the company? They are retaining 94.1% of their clients, just by adding a panel with a logo and their contact information. And that's when it sparked to me. That's when it was like, holy crap, the best home service companies across the whole fucking nation, we're talking Morris Jenkins, Service Champions, freaking Nexgen Air Conditioning, Milestone. We're talking all those guys. If they're retaining 8 to 10% of their overall clients, they are running a really smooth, solid, sticky operation. So, and the biggest thing that stood out to me, by retaining that 94% on the alarm, like ADT spends little to no marketing money because they're able to retain 94% of the client. So when I was looking at my P&Ls, when I was looking at the financials from Nexgen and other companies, there's a couple things that everybody spends a shit ton of money on. Ready? Number one, labor, right? Labor is one of the biggest pies in your P&Ls that's eating up the profit. And obviously we're not going to replace humans. They're not going to, AI is not going to come in here and replace toilets for us or replace an air conditioning for us or that. So the second most impactful thing that I saw in the P&Ls is marketing. Marketing is a huge spend across the board on every single company that we saw. And everybody's spending between 4 to 14%, maybe 15, 16%. At Nexgen, I think there was points that we were spending up to 18, 19, 20% of our total revenue being dumped back into marketing. And once I saw that, I'm like, that's what they're doing right. The alarm companies are minimizing their marketing spend by putting these panels on on everybody's house and telling everybody, hey, we're the only ones that could work on this unit. The sensors only communicate with this panel. If you have any problem, you got to call us. And once I figured that out, I'm like, we got to do that for the home and for the AC industry. Why? Because imagine right now we're spending at Nexgen, we're spending $1.4 to $1.5 million a month, and we're retaining less than 8% of our overall clients. Imagine if we retain 95% of our clientele, what the impact they would do on the P&L, how much lower we could minimize the marketing, because we're able to lead generate with a touch of a button, right? Hey, I want to hit every 10-year-old unit in Huntington Beach. And with one filter, you could send it out on the dashboard, and on their phone, on the thermostat, they're going to get an alert that's 100% open rate. You know why? Because nobody's going to ignore that thermostat if they see a notification, or when they're on their phone, it's going to look like a little text message icon. What are they going to do? Click on it and read it, right? What's the next thing that they're going to do? We made it so simple for them. Once they read the notification saying, hey, water heater maintenance is due, or AC tune-up is due, or your membership renewal is due, whatever messaging you want to come up with, there's a click to call button on the app, right? You listen to what I'm going to say, because this is super impactful. On the app, there's a phone number tracked by service time by whatever CRM you're working on. They click on it, they call, and they get a service right away, or they approve it and they dispatch a technician. Now, how many millions and millions and millions of times do customers go to their thermostat to turn it on? It doesn't turn on. What's the first thing they do when it doesn't turn on? They go on Google, they go on Yelp, they go on whatever and look for a contractor, right? Some of these contractors, what they're not noticing is that you could have gone 6 months ago to replace an igniter or a circuit board or a capacitor or whatever, right? And then they go to the thermostat, something else is wrong. What's the first thing they're going to do? They're not going to save their number on your phone. Mm-hmm. Nobody saves the air conditioning number on their phone. You know what they do? They go back on Google. They click on that stupid fucking paid ad again. They charge you again for that same fucking customer that you were just at their house 6 months ago. Now you got to pay that Google again. Hey, you guys were here 6 months ago to replace some parts, and now it's not working again. So you're essentially paying over and over and over for that same client, right? That's on a good notice. Imagine if they don't remember your name, if you didn't have a big enough impact, or they can't find the invoice or the email that you sent them, all that, what are they going to do? Go on Google and Yelp. And now you lost that client, which is the most important thing. That 10-year-old unit that they just invested $1,500 on, now they're going to go to another client. That contractor might come in and buy a new system. They're going to buy a new system for them. So that was the main thing. It was like, how do we retain more clients for the air conditioning contractors? How do we capitalize on it? And then how do we make their operation more efficient? And that's where we came up with Nuva. Nuva is probably the first interactive device that we're going to be able to reduce labor, reduce warranty costs, reduce marketing, increase the efficiency in the operation, right? So I can't wait for 6 months from now, a year from now, where we can share our screen. Hopefully Lauren does her job and we're able to stand on our screen, right? And I can show you live KPIs of like, hey, look at this company. They've been on Nuva for 6 months and we were able to reduce their marketing by 2%, 5%, 20%, because now that we captured and we retain the client, now we got them for life. That's the one thing I can't wait for.
Sounds almost like a membership or a maintenance agreement.
Or a monitoring fee. Right? Because it's not going to be
same thing.
Let me give you another scenario. And this happens to us every single day at Nexgen. This happens to every contractor at Nexgen. And this is the one thing that I'm excited about too. Customer calls in because they just went in their house. They turn on their system, and they're like, it's hot in here. You guys need to come out here. It's not working. What do? Send a fucking technician all the way to 2-3 hour drive to get there to find out that they turned on their system 5 minutes ago, right? And that's why it's not pulling down the temperature. It's 90 degrees outside, and they're just desperate and frustrated. You know what we could do on the Nuva app is pull up their account, click on their thermostat, and they'll show you a usage graph of like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you just turned on the thermostat 7 minutes ago. That's why it's not pulling down the temperature. Give it about an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. It's 95 degrees outside. So give it a little bit of time. And then now we save the whole freaking truck roll to the consumer. Now the consumer's not pissed off. Right now we're showing up and saying, you just turned it on 15 minutes ago or 5 minutes ago. How do you expect it to pull down 20 degrees? It's 95, but we already sent the technician. The technician's pissed off because he could have been running an opportunity call. He could have been, capitalizing on something and making money, right? So that's the one thing that's gonna help the operators too, being able to be like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we just saw that your thermostat got turned on 7 minutes ago. It's 95 degrees outside. Give it a little bit of time. If it continues, we'll keep monitoring your thermostat and making sure it gets to your set point. Cool. Done. Now you got a satisfied client, and now you got a technician open, ready to run another call.
Love it. Is there going to be a monitor fee for contractors to?
Yeah, there's going to be 4 different bundles that we're offering the contractors. It goes, we literally named it Nuva, N minus, U plus, B square, or the E networks. There's 4 different size packages that they could buy depending on the features. It goes from $495 to $19.95 a month, and then depending on the quantity of thermostats that they're buying, we're giving them a volume discount too. So that's what the part of the onboarding is. We explain to them the features, which is the custom app, the auto start, the weekly Wednesday calls, the marketing dashboard, the actual dashboard, and we go through the whole bundles. It's usually about a 30 to 45 minute presentation for them. I think we've done about 110 onboardings, and knock on wood, everybody's excited about the product. We've 108 of them have onboarded and given us a commitment of a year or more on our Nuva platform. So, which is pretty cool. I don't think there's any other technology company out there closing 98% of the deals.
So what you're saying is that instead of the contractor having to pay Google for those calls, they just got to pay you now.
Essentially, man. Essentially, this is going to be the biggest retaining. This is going to be the biggest retaining tool, and this is going to be the stickiest product out there. For $19.95, you know how much we're paying for you, or how much are we paying for a replacement lead right now?
For a brand new lead, new customer, I mean, easily $200 on a replacement.
Exactly. So for let's say they go with our e-networks package for $150 more, they could retain that client for life and capitalize on it, because the lifetime value on an air conditioning client varies from $20,000 to $50,000, right? So for $150 more, they could retain that client for life, right?
No, 100%. And it's, I mean, that's talking about a brand new replacement lead. Hopefully, if it is someone you've done business with before, the example you used, they're searching your name. But even then, you're still paying $20-$30 for that click of your business name. And that's if you're running branded ads. So it's
and
still
it also depends if people are competing against your also branded name.
Correct.
Could be a little as $1 or $2, could be like $50, $60, $70 for branded.
And how many times how many times people will search Nexgen air conditioning and another ad will pop up that kind of looks like ours, and they'll click on that one, and then they'll call bro, there's so many that little journey of the customer between them having a problem to searching the right contractor. That's what we need to eliminate, right? That's what we need to eliminate and give them the option of hey, you already paid once for this lead. It cost me $400 or $500 for me to get to your house already, right? Why do we have to keep paying over and over to Yelp, to Google, because we don't have a branded, a device inside their home yet?
Right.
No, and I'm glad that it's changed a little bit, to be honest, from when we're on in Vegas and you say, hey, we just send out a notification when you want calls. And I'm so glad that part of it has changed, because I'm like, if you because now you're actually basing it on some of the data that happens with inside the system itself. It's factual. It's saying, hey, no, we've analyzed it. We've monitored it. Here's where we're at. Here's what you're doing. Here's all these extra things that go involved in it, which makes it a little bit better. So I know that your team wants to share something, and then I want to pivot the conversation after that into, I think Kevin wants to go into health and wellness. I want to talk about something else, and should be good to go. I believe we have that there. So Ismael's production team should be able to share that now.
No, I'll show them some of the slides. Keep going to the other one. Show them the custom app. There you go. Go to the next one. That's how the thermostat's going to look on sleep mode. That's how it's going to look when somebody gets ready to it. And then the next slide is the most impactful one. That's the one that everybody's excited about. So when they join the eNetworks package, we essentially do a custom app for everybody where they can see hey, you see the icon on the top where it says Nexgen. That's where your company logo is. There's a dark mode that we're working on too that makes it look super sleek. And then the last phase of it, which is V2, we're going to be able to color coordinate and do a theme on each app, where like Nexgen's red, white, and blue, the whole app's going to be red, white, and blue. Some of these guys have purple and green and all that. So we're going to put a theme behind every logo. On the next one, if you see it, this is what the customer's going to see: a notification on their thermostat, on their app, and then they're going to be able to see a notification on the thermostat saying, hey, this is, we need to get out there urgently. We're taking a step further too. V2 is already being worked on. I think it's going to release January 2025, where they click on the logo, on the Nuva logo, Nexgen logo, whatever company you have, they click on it, and you're going to be able to talk to somebody right then and there. Hey, can you get a technician out there? Just because we know that AI is going to be here in no time, and they're going to replace 95% of these, probably 100% of these customer service reps, these CSRs and dispatchers. Where an AI bot's going to be literally, you click the button and somebody's going to be like, hey, how can we help you? And you can dispatch a technician through the thermostat or through the app. So I can't wait for that.
In terms of the messages and the notifications, does it ever say what needs service or how, or is it just say, hey, it needs service?
Yes. So basically what we could put is reminders. Let's say you want to remind them every 6 months to do a water heater flush, because we do have sensors that are coming in for the water heaters that are already probably releasing in the next 30 days. We're going to put water sensors on the water heaters, on the drain pans for the air conditioning. We're going to put water sensors if you want to put one under your sink, just in case it leaks, and you're able to spot water there too. So no, we're going to be able to do actual alerts. What we don't want is reinvent the whole wheel and become another Honeywell or another Ecobee, where they're putting sensors everywhere, and we got to get out there and retrain the technicians and tell them exactly how to do it. We just want to make sure that, number one, to the consumer, it's a thermostat with an app that they can control. To the installers, it's a regular thermostat. You just wire it the same. And then to the operators and the owners, it's a lead generation source to be able to reduce marketing and increase efficiency inside your operations. So we don't want to overcomplicate it too much, because then retraining the whole world, and this is where 99% of these smart companies fail, is because they bring out a product with all these sensors and all these instructions, and they roll it out to all these technicians, and they're like, dude, you got to hire an army to be able to train all these guys. So we just want to get out there. Here's a thermostat, install it. It syncs up to our dashboards, and then when you're in the office, that's when the magic is happening.
Love it. No, a confused mind says no. I think the part that Thad was getting at was, would it alert the customer like, hey, your air conditioner runtime has increased by X amount of %. You need to get it serviced or something like that.
So because we're tracking runtime, that's our most that's our only diagnostic tool that we're using is runtime.
Right.
So if it is running 2-3 hours just to get to set point, then there is going to be an automatic alert sending to the consumer and the contractor saying, hey, it's taking way too long to cool down. You might need a tune-up or whatever. Once the technician gets there, that's what the technician's there for. What we don't want to do is replace the technician or dumb down the technician. The technician still is a valuable part of the operation. We'll never replace the technicians. We'll never replace the project managers, and we'll never replace the installers. Those are the three key components that make an operation successful. It's not about trying to take the technician's mind out of it. We still want the technicians going in there making sure, hey, we're giving you a guidance of like, hey, this unit's running way too long. Now you got to get out there and actually dig into what's wrong with it. We don't want to start giving them codes and this and this and that, because let's face it, guys, no matter how smart your smart sensors are, guess what's going to happen? The technician still has to diagnose it. So you're just wasting your time telling them this is the problem, right?
Right. From the contractor's perspective as well, so if it's 100 degrees out for 2 straight weeks, they're running their air conditioner way too hard. They're trying to get it down to 68 degrees when that's pretty unrealistic in terms of just battling the conditions. So that's part of it. Are you able to control how many of those messages go out, or is the message automatic?
No, you guys are able to control the messaging. You guys are able to control the messaging, and there's a history of messaging on any alerts and any messaging that is on the consumer profile. So all you have to do is click on the consumer, and they'll give you all the information that you've been doing. If you send them Happy 4th of July, if you send them a Happy Birthday notifications, you can do that automatically. If you know your consumer's birthday is on July 7th, right, and you want to put an automatic message to go every July 7th. Hey, happy birthday, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. We appreciate your business. That impact alone is going to be super, super, super dope to see.
Cool.
So I was just sending a message to your production team to stay in the room after, because they needs to upload the screen. So one of the things, I mean, a fairly large pivot in a sense from coming from an HVAC business to now what arguably could be a technological business and a technology stack. Looking at the changes and the challenges of moving from radically shifting business, obviously in the same industry in a sense, but what were some of the biggest learning hurdles that you've had to face in leading and running Nexgen and now into leading and running Nuva?
So Nuva is not my first technology startup. I still have DataCube,
Right.
which is a 4-year startup. It's a technology, not a startup. It's a 4-year-old company that we've been running well for, I think over 4 years already. So I think the biggest learning curve between the service world and the technology world is the way you communicate with people, the SaaS people and the technology and what we're building here at Nuva. They're a little bit more, I wouldn't say complicated. You just gotta deal with them a little bit different. In the home service industry, you could walk in and be pissed off and and everybody gets to work, right? You got to be a little bit more toned down, a little bit more methodical when you're doing technology, just because these guys are, most of these guys already worked at another tech startup or another company, so they know what they want. They're more in tune of who they are. That's the one thing I could figure out. They're more in tune of the technology people are more in tune of who they are, and the home service people are more in like trying to figure out, do they want to be a tech? Do they want to be an installer? Do they want to be they're like in the discovery mode of their phase. So the one huge difference that I see between the home service and the technology people is that the technology people are more like, hey, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is where if you want me to come and work for you, this is what I'm gonna do. And the home service people are more like, hey, like what can I help with? Or they're a little bit more service oriented.
The other thing that stands out to me is the patience that it's taken to get to the point that you're at now. Like, this is years in the making to be able to launch this product versus
2.5 years
versus
Nexgen.
I mean, you were out there borrowing money off of credit cards and from supply houses in order to get that thing going, and within a few weeks you started shipping out dozens of pieces of equipment. So like that speed and that patience that it's taken to get to where you're at now, how were you able to deploy that level of patience, especially for someone like you who I know likes to go so fast? How were you able to put the brakes on that?
So because of my journey that I've been with Nexgen, and I was able to blow it up and have that impact in it, now I'm in a different phase in my life where I'm like, okay, cool. I gotta let people like do their job to the point where it's like Sergo and my Armenia team and my Hong Kong team and all those guys have been working on it day in, day out, Monday through Saturday, sometimes even Sunday. And I had to learn to be patient in a way of like, hey, let them do their development, let them do the testing, let them do the R&D, right, which is huge in technology. I had to like literally teach myself how to let people do their job properly. And then right now I'm about to take the baton from them and start running with it, which is my favorite part of the journey is going from like, okay, cool, the product's done, Ismael. We've done everything you wanted. We got the auto start feature, we got the logo, we got the app ready for you, we got the marketing center, we got the dashboards, we got everything that you wanted inside the thermostat. Now it's your time to and I think that's the main thing at Nexgen. I was doing everything myself and trying to pump the gas and the brakes and everything at the same time. Now it's more of a section like, hey, R&D had to do their time, the 3 years to make the product. Now it's my time to grow it. And then I guarantee you in 3 to 5 years from now, there's a different phase of Nuva that I still haven't seen, but I already know it's coming. And I gotta discipline myself to hand the baton over to them and be like, okay, guys, I did it. I did what you guys needed me to do. Here it is. And now it's your project. And, I had to learn that in the last, 10 years of being in the journey.
No, I love that.
It's different seasons and iterations in business, right? And like, and that's like, it's huge because I mean, we're going through that in our business too, right? Like we literally just got kicked out of an operations level 10 meeting the other day, and they're like, yeah, we don't need you guys anymore. And it's the season, it's the seasons of life and the seasons of business. And the other part is what got you there won't get you there. In understanding that too, right?
Yeah.
About yourself as the leader, as the business owner, saying, okay, well, if I'm at $2 million and I'm stuck at $2 million, it's my people. No, it's take a look in the mirror. It's likely you and the leader that you need to become. Now, if you're stuck at 10, you can use this at any number of an example, by the way, 7, 10, 20, 100, whatever. There's different challenges and different things that come up.
And I think, and look, let me pick a right up on that, because you just brought a thought to my head that I don't want to drop. The journey at Nexgen took me 8 years to grow to where it's at. And I made a harsh decision last week to finally, I was going 50-50 on Nexgen and Nuva, and I was half-assing Nuva, half-assing Nexgen. So I finally made the decision of being humble enough and knowing myself enough and in where I'm at in my journey in my life, that knowing that, hey, as a leader, you gotta sometimes you gotta recognize when your time is due in that journey. And last week I made a decision to finally, let Nexgen do the rest of the journey by themselves. And I took a step back and I said, hey man, part of being a good leader is also knowing when to hand the baton over to somebody else so they can continue the journey. So I'm sure I'm gonna have to do that at Nuva. I'm sure I'm gonna have to do that at DataCube, at Legacy, at all these ventures that I have. And that's the cool part that I've learned about myself in the last couple of years, that I'm humble enough to know that, hey, I don't know everything, and I know I might not be able to take Nuva public, which that's my goal, but I know when the time I'm going to know when the time is right, where I need to take a step back and let somebody else take the journey over, just because they're, they have a different set of skills that I might not be able to acquire there.
At what point do you have the self-reflection in knowledge to know that? So if you're mentoring a business owner who, I don't know when I need to be able to make that decision, how do you know?
When I stop having impact on the people, when I stop having that everyday impact on people. Like I used to come at Nexgen every day, and I would walk in and everybody's fucking synchronized. Everybody's just, and for the last year or so after I sold it off to Wrench Group, which is an amazing partner, and I love that I did that with them. Walking in there and knowing that I'm not giving them my all no more was the tipping point for me to be like, okay, cool. I need to hand this off to somebody that's going to give it 100% their attention, so I can go focus something on 100%. Which is why Nuva came in right at the perfect time. I'm leaving my journey at Nexgen, and Nuva finally finalized the product about a month ago. We've been testing for 90 days, and luckily, knock on wood, we've only had one warranty in the last 1,000 units, which is pretty freaking amazing. So knowing that I'm in the perfect time to take Nuva to the next level is what I had to do.
Perfect. Evan, do you have any final thoughts before we jump into our random question generator?
Last thing would be the mentorship.
Mentorship, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I look around at this industry, and there's a ton of gurus out there, and a ton of people selling their services, and a ton of people, saying, "Hey, come and join me. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you blow up your business." Number one, that is not the message I ever want to give to people, because I don't consider myself a mentor, a guru, or somebody that's above somebody. Like, I will always, if I have the bandwidth at the time of my journey, I will always, if somebody calls me right now and I'm not doing anything and they need advice, I will always do it for free. I don't think I will, knock on wood, I don't think I would ever have the guts to charge people to be like, hey man, if you want to talk to me, you got to pay this subscription. Like, I don't know. To me, it feels, it feels weird. So my advice to them is like, hey, look at the fucking track record. Look at the track record. Don't take people's word for it. Like, if you want to grow to $100 million, go to somebody that's grown to $100 million. If you want to exit your business, go to somebody that's exited a business once or twice or whatever, many times, right? If you want to, become a fitness coach, like, are you gonna go and hire somebody that's 300 pounds and is eating burgers all day? Of course not. Right? You're going to look for somebody that's fit, that's dedicated, that's disciplined, that's in the gym every day, right? That's what I tell people. Stop hearing what they're saying and stop looking at what they're saying. Like, you can't just keep, taking people's word for it. I'm so against this fucking guru mentor. Like, I don't consider myself that. I go on Avengers and I just try to help as many people as I can.
Oh, I always love the saying of what you do speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you say.
There you go.
I was just
I'd
thinking
like to
about the
think I've
Patrick
done,
Wog
you
one
know,
where he says, "I'm
maybe
sorry, I
some
can't
people
cheer you with
still
my
haven't
Stanley
done
Cup
it,
rings."
but I'd like to think that my actions have been pretty loud. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So with the mastermind offering that you're putting together with Nuva, do you want to speak on that really quick?
Of course, it's a weekly Wednesday calls that we're gonna do. It comes with the e-networks package. It's 10 a.m. every day, and it's not, hey, I'm gonna show you how to exit your business. I'm gonna show you how to grow to 100 million. We're gonna show you that there's a different way to do memberships. I'm not, you know, when I posted about a year ago that memberships were dead and the whole fucking world stopped, like that's not what I meant, but that's kind of what I meant. It's not that they're dead; they just need an update. Like, why can't we monitor these devices and capitalize on it? Why can't we? Why do we have to go to the home every single time and walk out with a bunch of zeros? Like, it's not like every time you walk into a house, you're walking away with $2, $3, $4, $5,000. Like, most of these memberships are just changing filters and cleaning units. That's all they're doing, right? So why can't we monitor, make sure that, hey, some of these customers, we're trying to get in their door and hammer them and trying to sell them something, when we could have just looked at their system and been like, oh, you haven't even used it this year. You've used it, 2 days out of the whole year. So why go in there and try to hammer them again? So all I'm saying is maybe monitoring is not the answer. Maybe membership's not the answer, but there is a different way to do things. And that's what I'm always trying to challenge. It's like, that's why I came up with Data Cube. That's why I'm coming up with Nuva. I'm sure that I'm going to come up with a different product to improve a sector inside the operation. That's who I am. That's not, that's not what I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm just trying to question everything. Everybody did things a certain way the last 20, 30, 40 years. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, is there a better way to do it? And if there's a better way to do it, let's discuss it amongst each other, right? And let's improve the operation. Let's not just let it be like, hey, this is how we've been doing things for the last 20 years. Memberships are the only way to retain a client. Like, is there a better way to do it? And if there's not, let's figure it out together. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's an iteration of the membership program, because like you're right, if they've only used their unit for 2 times, well, do you actually need to go in and clean the unit? Well, maybe not. And so you can actually combine something like this with the traditional membership program. Now you've actually got 2 revenue streams too, if you think about that, because you can have your traditional membership program. Oh, by the way, we're also going to monitor your system, so that way we know if we, when we need to give you more TLC on your unit. And now you've double dipped, you've iterated it, and you've created an even stickier product for the client.
You know what I'm excited about, and I'm not going to take too long on this, but this is probably the most exciting part about not just Nuva and just the next phase of what's going to happen in the industry, right? For the last 10, 15 years that we've been selling these companies to private equity, or we're taking them to IPO, whatever is going to happen, we've been getting paid on multiples of EBITDA, right? So we've been getting paid. If you earn $1 million, we give you $8 million, 10 million, whatever it is. It's multiples of EBITDA. The SaaS companies are getting paid multiples of fucking revenue that doesn't even exist. They're getting multiples of revenue, future revenue, market share, like all these things. And I'm like, okay, so we're getting paid multiples of EBITDA on our operation. Is there a way that we can get paid multiples of revenue? And how do we find a way to do that? I know that there is a way by infusing technology into the operation. Maybe you could sector off the operation into different forms where, like, perfect example, my buddy owns a company right here in the Inland Empire. They paid for 80% of his business, they paid 10x on 80%. For the 20%, which was Home Depot, Costco, Lowe's, they paid 7x of EBITDA. Right? Well, why can't we do that with a different way with us? Why can't we infuse technology and call it monitoring and build the MRR on the monitoring fee and build $500,000 worth of MRR and get paid on that, on revenue, times 20, 30, 40, 50, and then on the other section, get paid multiples of EBITDA. That way, everybody fucking wins. Now the companies are valued higher. We're actually improving the technology inside the operation. We're actually improving the home service, right? Like, that's the one thing that I'm going to keep working on. How do we keep infusing technology to keep driving the value of these companies up and up? Because, bro, making a couple $100 million is cool, but imagine making $1 billion. That would be dope.
That was a mic drop. He just walks away.
He's starting to get fired up. I love it.
Right?
And speaking of doing things better, the random question generator is brought to you by On Purpose Media. Visit onpurposemedia.ca/second opinion. Get a second opinion on your marketing. So make sure that everything's operating correctly, and it's no obligation, no sign up, no bullshit, just straight value. How can we help you? Whether that's taking the information back to your marketing company or looking at doing things a better way, go sign up for that. Random question generator. If you don't remember, Ish, this is where we're asking a question that has nothing to do with anything we were talking about, but it usually leads to some great conversations. So you don't get to know what they are beforehand. Would you like question 1, 2, or 3?
I'll go with number 1.
All right. If you could travel back in time and witness one historical event, what would you pick and why?
In my life or in the world?
In the world.
Going back to like meeting my mom for like even 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, because I never got to meet her. She passed away when I was 2. So I never got to like really talk to her or interact with her. So I think if I could go to one place in the world, if God could take me back to talking to her for a quick 5 minutes and just letting her, hugging her and talking to her and asking her a couple questions that I got, I think that's my main. I would choose that over fucking talking to God, talking to freaking Michael Jordan, talking to whoever you want to name. I think talking to my mom for a quick 5, 10 minute conversation and just her being able to see what the journey that I've gotten here, that would be pretty dope for me.
Well, that's way more sentimental than I thought we were going to get.
You're like, I wasn't expecting that. I thought you were going to talk about something stupid. No, dude, I would love it. Honestly, if I could go back for a quick 10-minute combo with her, that would be super dope. I never got to talk to her, so I've always had that in the back of my mind. Like, man, if I could have a quick 10-minute conversation with her just to see how she was, the way she carried herself, the way she talked, the way she, the way she smiled, the way she looked, that would be pretty dope for me.
That would be
Totally.
I mean, it's you hit a chord with me and thinking about like what would that have been like on like for me, or what it would be like for my boys, and it'd be like shit. Yeah, trade that if that was the situation in a heartbeat. So
yeah, well, and I know you've had tremendous help from family members, your brother raising you, playing a big role in your life early on. You wouldn't be here without those sacrifices from family members. And yeah, it's something else, dude.
Yeah,
to see what you've done and what you've built.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now you're on the health kick. This is the worst transition in podcast history because I don't know where else. I think you should
stop it there. We should even talk about the health kick.
All right, we could go down the health kick, or we can ask our Pat the last question. Up to you.
It's up to you.
We're still gonna ask the last question regardless.
Yeah, I'm good.
No, I do want to talk about the health thing because this has been something that you've been putting out there for a little bit. You've been talking about it a lot more. Why was getting healthy important to you? Why was that something that you wanted to make a bigger part of your life, and then also carry that over into your peer group that you've created, the what is it, LSD group that you've created with your buddies, making sure that health is a priority for you guys?
Because I think I go back to like the different phases and stages of my life. When I was partying, I had to stop partying to grow the business. When I had to grow the business, I had to sober up to understand the business. And then now that I sold the business and we created some generational wealth for my kids and everybody, now I'm at a different part where like, okay, what's left for me to fine tune myself, right? Because I'm always working on myself. I'm always working on the trades. I'm always working on the operation. I'm always working on something. I feel like I gotta fix something in order for my life to have purpose. So like for me, it was like, okay, what's the one thing that's missing? And I looked at myself in the mirror one day. I'm like, God damn, I'm fucking fat. Like, what the fuck happened to me? I used to be fit. I used to go to, I used to play baseball when I was young. So that was probably like, it's just different stages of my life. I know that, sobering up to growing the business, selling the business. Now it's like the only way to get better from now to, I promised you guys in 3 to 5 years, I'm going to take Nuva IPO. In order for me to do that, I think God is telling me that I need to sober up. I need to work on myself. And the one thing that I didn't have was the discipline of going inside the gym and putting in the 1 or 2 hours in there of working on me and my mental health. So I think it's just the stages that God keeps putting me in and keeps telling me, hey, this is the thing that you got to work on. If you want to take Nuva IPO, cool, no problem. I'll help you get there. The only way I'm going to help you get there is if you work on the best version of yourself. And I believe this next version of myself is probably going to be the dopest one.
No, I love that because I mean, more often than not, people set big goals and then they immediately go to well, how is it that I'm going to get there?
Yeah.
And they skip 2 important steps of why is it that I want it?
Yeah.
Because if you don't connect with a why, you're never going to be able to push through those hard days. And then who do I need to become? What are the habits that I need to build in order to achieve that? You know, someone who's running $1 billion technology company, what do they do on a daily basis? Who do they connect with? Are they the ones that are actually making tech decisions? Fuck no. They've got leaders that are in place that do that for them.
Exactly.
Right? Focusing on who it is that you need to become is a massively overlooked step.
Yeah, I agree with that, and that's why I brought in, you know, my buddies from LSD. Like, dude, we're on the group message, and I'm calling them fat asses, and I'm fucking texting them pictures of my DEXA scans, and I'm like, hey, get your fucking ass in the gym. Show me that you went in the gym. They're sending pictures of them deadlifting. They're sending videos on it. Like, we're holding each other accountable. That group in there, dude, you know, from Tom to look at fucking Tommy's almost worth $1 billion, right? Like. That group, we hold each other accountable, and that's probably one key things that I want to make sure that everybody in the trades works on. Like, you got to find your little niche of people that are going to push you to get to where you're at. Like, I know for a fact that, you know, my goal is to become a billionaire in the next 3 years. It gives me, I have what, 2 years and 7 months left to get there, right? And in order for me to get there, I gotta hold myself accountable. I gotta be disciplined, and I gotta hang around the right people. And Tommy, Chris, Chad, Travis, Tom, all those guys are holding me accountable, just like I'm holding them accountable.
Oh, I love that. Toxic masculinity as its finest, calling each other fat asses.
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, bro, I'm old school. I call people retards, fucking fat asses, dude. We were raised on them. We were raised on those words, right?
Yep, 100%. How have wagers and bets allowed you to level up your game?
Bro, the one thing about me, like, you could ask anybody around here. I don't give a fuck if it's $1 bet. I don't care if it's a $10,000 bet. I have $1 million bet with Tommy going on right now. See who has the highest net worth by the age of 50. Obviously, he's fucking old. I think he's 42 or 43. So he's got 7 years to get to his highest net worth, and I got 13 years to do that. So yeah, dude, bets to me the idea behind the bet or being able to say, hey, I won. By the way, I beat Tommy 4 times already in a row on all our bets. The $1 million bet is our 5th one, but just the level of competition that these guys bring out of me, no, I don't think anybody else could have. I don't think, like, if I hung around with Ken and, you know, Paul Kelly and all those guys, they would be too nice to me on that level. Like, Tommy brings out the best in me. Tom, everybody, like, we bring out the best in each other. So I think those bets are just like the cherry on the top to being able to, like, say, hey, look, I beat Tommy, I beat Tom, I beat these guys, right? So, dude, I think the bets is just the cherry on the top, but we do take it really fucking serious, huh?
Well, especially when you set the bar that high. I know you've won a $50,000 watch in the past. And
by the way, he paid me all my bets. He paid me $10,000, $25,000, a $50,000 watch. And last one that we made a bet on, he just paid me in December $250,000. He paid me. So I want to say, Tommy, you're a beast. You're going to pay me that $1 million too. I promise you.
Pew, pew. Cashier's check, right?
Cashier's check. I'll take a wire. At that time, wire. You want EBT? You want to?
Don't you want the briefcase?
Hey, I was going to say a suitcase full of cash. Suitcase full of cash.
Cash all day.
Hide it on your mattress so you don't have to. Yeah. I was just say put it on your mattress so you don't have to pay Uncle Sam.
I'm good.
Ismael, it's been a treat having you on. Thank you for bringing the passion, the fire. Excited to see where Nuva is going to go in the future and really what you guys are building there. It's something I believe that's going to be special. Of course, if you want to check out their product, you can go to nuvahome.com. You can hit them up on the Instagram at Ismael Valdez CEO. You can find their Facebook group. You just have to search Service Avengers in Facebook. We'll put a link in the bottom of our show notes. It's the long numbered one. So just search Service Avengers. It'll pop up and you should have that there. So as we do wrap up, Ismael, we have one final question here for you.
Of course.
And that is, what is one question that you wished people would ask you more, but don't?
What is the one question I wish people would ask me more?
But don't.
I wish they would ask me more like the why, like why I keep like fucking like digging into the operation so much. I feel like people just see the results that I've done, like, you know, selling Nexgen, selling my first 2 companies, selling Nexgen, you know, the ventures that I got going. I don't think people really know why, like I do it. Like, to me, I've always been so curious about everything, like, and I question everything, and I think I frustrate, like, you know, some of the private equity people and some of the, you know, the way things were done, just because I question so much. They don't ask me the why. The why is because I just, like, I love having a healthy debate. I love having a healthy conflict. I love having a healthy conversation of like, hey, if you think you're right and I think I'm right, let's debate over it and let's find out a solution. And that's what keeps me driving. Like, hey, why do we do memberships the way we do them? Or why do we keep paying Google so much? Or why do we keep, you know, rolling trucks when we could save those? Or like, I just have so many whys, right? And the why is just that I'm curious. Like, I'm not trying to start a conflict. I'm just trying to dig into, can we do it better as a group? I'm not saying I have all the answers, but let's talk about like how we can make it better, right?
Evan, do you have a follow-up? You look like you're deep in thought.
I was writing down a potential title for the episode.
Oh, okay, even better. But it's a key thing, right? And there's often times where, as a leader, as an owner, you got to poke holes in certain aspects and know when to poke holes, know when not to poke holes, and let your team run with it. And being able to either that, or, you know, it's always easy to come in from an outside perspective into a business, especially if you understand what's happening in a business scenario, to come in and poke holes in it because you're an outsider looking in. It's just understanding those different nuances to be able to know when to do it and when not to do it, when to push, when not to push, when to ask, when not to ask.
Exactly.
Yep. So,
well,
before
thank
we
you
leave,
for coming
guys,
on.
honestly, like, congratulations on all your podcasts. I want to make sure that, you know, Nuva sponsors you guys and is the main sponsor for your show. So whatever it is that you guys need from us, we want to make sure we keep supporting you guys, because you guys have a huge impact. Like, some of these people are 18, 19, 20-year-olds hearing your podcast, and they're like, I get DMs on Instagram and Facebook saying, hey, I heard you on this podcast. I've seen you on this video. I see you on that. And just to have that little DM of like, hey man, you changed my life on this podcast, or you changed my life on this video, or you guys don't know how big of an impact you have on the industry by being consistent on your podcast. So I want to give you guys a big up on that, man.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you being a master debater when it comes to poking holes in systems and uncovering the why and a deeper why, right?
There you go.
And how is it that we can do things better and continue to elevate it? Because it helps the industry grow. It helps everyone grow, helps us get better as well. So thank you.
Of course.
And until next time.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Well, that's a wrap on another episode of HVAC Success Secrets Revealed. Before you go, 2 quick things. First off, join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/HVAC Revealed. The other thing, if you took one tiny bit of information out of this show, no matter how big, no matter how small, all we ask is for you to introduce this to one person in your contacts list. That's it. That's all. One person. So they too can unleash the ultimate HVAC business. Until next time, cheers.